One time running out. It's R.J. Barrett.
He can hoop.
The whole league played yesterday. We got to show this highlight twice?
Well,
Is it MLK?
Point,
We gotta show this highlight
six.
twice?
Trying to show
it's a
you
game-tying dunk with .6 left on the clock.
Okay, who won?
The Raptors.
Okay. Medal stand, bronze. One of the most underappreciated players in the league, Drew Holiday. 35-11 in a win over the frisky Pacers for a Bucks team that just can't wait to get to the postseason but needs Chris Middleton to be healthy. Silver medal, Jason Tatum. 51-9-5 for Jason Tatum over a terrible Hornets team. Tatum is, listen, if back when MVP voting meant something and you're supposed to be winning, Jason Tatum would be much higher on the MVP rankings. But unfortunately, as long as you make the sneak into the playoffs and tell me what the VORP is and we'll decide who the MVP is. And then the gold medal, the King. 48, 8, and 9. A Tim Duncan-esque kiss off the backboard with under a minute left to kind of ice the game. LeBron James now has more career games of 45-5 after the age of 35 than the rest of NBA history combined.
Solid win over the Rockets.
There is the medal stand from last night in the NBA.
Solid.
Good win over the Rockets.
He can't control his on the schedule.
I like that better than the.
We're in a bit of a quagmire here.
Are we? Or are we
We're
just...
not. Someone else is.
You know what? What are you doing? Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
Well,
gracious.
go ahead, ask the question.
Usually I don't try to throw to speak early, but Hobbs, can you see if
It
you're
is
ready
Joy
to take
Taylor's birthday.
Really?
Oh, happy birthday, Joy.
Yeah,
If you want to take... Oh, goodness.
What's up?
Saturday
Who
at
we rooting
4:30,
for in this game, boys? What?
Prince versus...
I'm
we don't know.
wondering.
I don't know what to do.
What do you mean? Who are you rooting for?
Usually I root for your demise because I think it makes for good television and honestly personally enjoyable as well. But I guess I'm rooting for Mahomes if this is the other option.
Well, I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I've had enough concerts for the next month in
What
the
do you mean?
studio. So
Oh,
I'm
the trumpets?
rooting for Kansas
Oh,
City.
looky there.
It's all been a
To
trick.
demolish.
Looky there.
We're all rooting for the
I've
Chiefs.
got you, both of you dopes boxed in, where you're all Chiefs. You get to be Chiefs fans for a week. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a great experience.
I hope the Chiefs win an ugly game where they don't play well.
Okay, well that's one of those ugly games to get to their 6th straight conference championship. I'm sorry, is it 6 straight, 5 straight? I lose track. I just get in it every year. Here's what I know.
Who are you rooting for? That's the
Who
question.
am I rooting? Well, I'm from Kansas City. I'm a hometown guy. However, I understand
Me too.
the
I
challenge.
can relate.
I understand the challenge. You're not from Kansas City.
No, but hometown guy. I'm definitely a hometown guy.
several.
Yeah,
All
you've
my
got a
hometown.
dozen of them.
All of them.
I understand the challenge. It's one thing to have the Prince come to town. It's another thing, to have the Prince come to town on a Saturday.
Oh.
The NFL schedule makers did us no favors there, I'll tell you that much. But, I believe in Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid, I think it's like 27-4 coming off a bye. 8.5 sounds just about right. It should be 10.5, but, the Prince is worth 2 points by himself. So I think it's good. But I know this. I'm going to be watching it carefree. I'm so excited. It's just delightful.
If Ford somehow wins,
Have a great afternoon.
Happy birthday, Joy.
Happy birthday, Joy.
What's up, family? Welcome in to Speak for Yourself.
You're right here talking Brady's future. One intriguing option, San Francisco, huh? Ian Rappaport reporting Purdy and Brady are among QB options for the 49ers next season. Nick, you're always dialed in on the 49ers quarterback, mostly to diss our guy, Jimmy G.
Just one of the many things I've been proven right about this NFL season. Just pick a guy, a random 7th-round pick, and see if you can do better than Jimmy
So do you
G.
like Brady in San Francisco?
No, I mean, absolutely not. I think that Brady had to have a great playoff game in order for folks, and I thought he would. I said it yesterday on the show. I thought he would. I was wrong. To be able to look past what all year long looked like a 45-year-old quarterback. You know what? That's unfair. He looked like a 40-year-old quarterback. Huh. There is no context for a 45-year-old quarterback. He looked like a once great quarterback who was a little too old. He has, broken that mold so far that it's like look like a 45-year-old. No, we've never seen that before. But can we show? But this was the worst season of Brady's career. Right. We can show you the numbers, and the numbers tell you it was the worst season of his career. That game, and by the way, that yards per pass is noteworthy. In all of NFL history, 350-yard games, playoffs or regular season. Do you know the fewest yards per attempt? yesterday's Brady game.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he threw for 350, but it was the least efficient
523.
350 we've ever seen. You add to it, it's also the worst win-loss record of his career, which, again, I'm not a quarterback wins guy, but for a guy who's never been under 500, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're the Niners, Brock Purdy right now is better. He's better. And it would just be a one-year rental. It would be a one-year thing which would offset whatever momentum you're trying to build as a franchise around, whether it's Purdy or Lance, whatever they do. So, no, I think that what Tom Brady needed was for Brock Purdy to fall on his face a month ago. And then they might be like, well, Jimmy G's gone. We haven't seen Trey. Purdy's a 7th-round pick. Obviously, he's not the guy. But no, I think the Niners. I don't think they will do it. I'd be shocked if they do it.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I think that part is interesting. Like Brock Purdy would be a guy that you could say, hey man, you're gonna go back into the crock pot and season for a year. Why we have Tom Brady, one of the world's greatest to ever do it. The thing that doesn't make sense to me about Tom Brady in San Francisco is that is a system. That is a West Coast system in which we're going to run the ball, we're going to set up our play action, we're going to do what we do out of this system.
Quarterback
you're going to be under, you're like a lot of the athleticism part of the game doesn't fit that. It doesn't fit Tom Brady. What would make the most sense, obviously, is going to the Raiders, where you've had Josh McDaniels, and you can operate that system. You can get all your pre-snap looks. You can have the answers before. You can have the answers to the test before you snap the ball. That makes the most sense. And then, obviously, if you go to Miami, that's still a derivative of the West Coast system that Mike McDaniels runs.
Right,
I mean, he was on Shanahan's staff forever, and they were in Washington together under Mike Shanahan when Kyle was the offensive coordinator and McDaniels was, I don't know what he was. So the offensive whatever,
quality control,
whatever, tight end, whatever he was. I don't know what he was.
You make an interesting point because I think unless Brock Purdy does something in these playoffs to just make San Francisco think, oh, he just had a nice run. We've seen a few guys do this. I mean, I think his is legitimate, but like a Mike
White. Even if he had a 3-pick game.
Okay,
and they lose. I don't think that's enough to undo the good work.
But let's say he has a 3-pick game and they win. He plays bad, they win. In the NFC title game, he plays horrible again and they lose. That might make, because we've seen Mike White, and I know he's better than Mike White, but we've seen guys have runs, Cooper Rush, and then all of a sudden, that's who they are. Bailey Zappi and all this stuff. And so I think that, but here you brought up an interesting point. If they went out and got Brady and said, Brock, you're going to sit behind him a year, and then Brady, after 6 games, it's like he's done. Could you bench Tom Brady?
They benched Peyton Manning.
It happened to Peyton Manning, but I mean,
by the way, but that's a great point, the Peyton Manning thing. They came in, Gary Kubiak said, oh, by the way, you're not operating this thing from shotgun calling plays. You're getting under center. We're running tank plays. We're doing what we do. They did that. He was horrible. They made a compromise and ran most everything out of pistol. He came back. He was still so injured. They relied on the defense. They won a world championship, but it wasn't the world championship that Peyton Manning brought to the organization. Right. He did from a cultural standpoint, but that defense is what got them there over the Carolina Panthers. And there was the butting of the heads between Gary Kubiak and Peyton Manning all season long.
But also the difference there, Wilds, is they didn't bring in Peyton Manning that final year. That was his 4th year there. They brought in Kubiak. He was already there. He had taken him to a Super Bowl. He'd won a league MVP. Upending at some point, Tom Brady is going to be in that phase of his career. The Peyton Manning at the end, 9 touchdowns, 17 picks. Yikes.
Don't sleep on pliability, though.
Which is why he has aged better than any of these guys. Listen, you go to New England, it'll be a nice story. They won't be any good, but that's fine. You're used to not being any good in New England.
I'm ready to bring Lord Brady.
We go one Super Bowl in 50 years. Hey, coming back. Does the Prince have the Chiefs on upset alert? I hope so now, even though you got me in a bit of a vice.